Hi, my name is Beth Hiley here for BoardGameGeek, and I'm here with Nikki Pontius from Hachette, and you've brought us Dinner in Paris, or Dinner in Paris, depending on how you like to roll, which is being published by Funny Fox. And Nikki, why don't you start us off by telling us how many players and what are we trying to do?
Okay, this game is for 2 to 4 players, and it's ages 10 and up, and it plays in 40 minutes. And that is the specs. The game is set up like so, and each player is going to have a player board. I kind of just did it for 3 players just to get it all to fit. The game board, guess what, goes in the center of the table. I have it showing for all players, but actually on the other side is the 2-player board, but you could play the 2-player on this side of the board as well. It's kind of hard to see in the camera, but there's some little people icons right here with some dotted lines that go around the outside. So on a full complement, you are going to play all the way to the edge of the board. For 3 players, you will be playing from this side in, and for 2 players, you will be playing for this side in. The point of the game is there has been a new wonderful eating area established, and it's going to be the hot place to be. And you are an entrepreneur of restaurants. So you're not just trying to open one restaurant, you're trying to open as many restaurants as you can. Space is limited, and they also have outdoor eating terraces. So that brings in a whole battle with your placed restaurant with the other restaurant people, all trying to have as much outdoor space as they can as well. The player board actually shows all the terrace pieces. These are all separate little, like, I guess, awnings for tables. So you would take them from these different areas of your player board and place them onto the grid. Of course, there are rules about placement, and I'll get into that. But first, how do you even start a restaurant? Restaurants need food. You are going to collect different resources from the resource deck right here. And you start out with 3 resources. Everyone starts out with 3 resources. To open a restaurant, you will need certain resources to open certain types of restaurants. Let me see if this player board will show.
There we go. Yes, quite well.
Yay. So if I wanted to open that first top restaurant there, I will need potatoes. This restaurant needs a lot of potatoes. So I will need 2 potatoes to open that restaurant. It is free, so the only thing that you are paying to do this restaurant will be the food resources. All of the restaurants to start a restaurant will be food related. So these will be seafood, 2 seafoods, and a baguette. And you can see all the other restaurants, what they ask for. The lower restaurants, of course, are the fancier restaurants, and they need more types of food items. When do you spend money? You spend money to place these terraces. Your player board will indicate that in order to place from this terrace all the way to this terrace, you're only placing like 1 at a time. But all of these are going to cost you 1 coin, and then after that point, it'll go up in price, and it'll be 2. You'll have to pay 2 to place these, and 3 to place these at the end. And then if we go all the way down to the fancy restaurants, this last one is going to cost you 12 coins in order to place that terrace. However, what you're getting out of placing terrace is these points at the bottom. So this last one is going to get you 14 points at the end of the game. It is very small. I don't know if you can read it. And then for the very fancy restaurant, if you manage to place all of these down to the last one, you'll get 34 points for placing that last one. So it goes up as the restaurants get more expensive.
And it might not be evident from the overhead camera, but those are a double layer board. So those little tiles are sitting in a trough so they don't slide around.
See? Oh, was that a good example? Yeah, I love that.
Now we're gradually the blue screen was adjusting to that color, so we were getting more and more transparent as you were talking.
Oh, sorry about that. The other thing that's on this board is your money. When you place some of the restaurants, not the first tier of restaurants, but like the second tier of restaurants, your income will start to go up. So if I go to this restaurant here, my income will go up by 1 coin, and that's for all of these. The last one, my income will go up to 4 points on this very last one. So with this yellow, we would mark that's every turn I have 4 coins in order to spend. And then this clear cube is kind of my marker. So on my turn, I can keep track of, oh, I just spent 2 coins. Okay, so now I only have 1 coin left to do whatever else I want to do on my turn. And then when your turn is done, that's it. And then when it's your turn again, you are starting with your top amount of money. You spend it or you don't, but you're always going to start your next turn with that top tier of money. So even if you tried to be conservative on your turn before, it's not going to make any difference. So you might as well spend as much as you can on your turn. So at the beginning of the game, you're going to start with 1 coin. Excuse me. So if I place one of my the building I just decided I paid the resources, I am going to place this building right here. And that's an action. And then I would take my little marker and place it on the top. And this lets everybody know that this is the red player's restaurant. And all the players have them for the different lengths of restaurants, which are all over here. So let's see, where's the most expensive?
Oh,
this one.
Let's get this.
So if this blue player was able to do this, they might place their building here, and then they would put their marker on that building right there. So everybody knows that's a top tier restaurant and it's the blue player's restaurant. When you are placing your terraces for these restaurants, there are some rules. You need to start in front of your restaurant. You cannot, I'm gonna just keep building and let's just build it out. Like, oh, there's some musicians in the street right here. I cannot cover these people. Come on. So I could go right up to them, but then I couldn't place anything on top of them. I can't place anything on top of the flowers or the fountain. I can, however, cover up these lovely pigeons right here. Pigeons are actually a good thing in this game. There is a pigeon deck, and when I cover up a pigeon, I will get either an immediate action, which has a lightning bolt on it, or I will get an action that I can do when I want to. And these actions can come in forms of draw another resource card, or hey, how about I'm going to use this card for 2 coins. Any card in the pigeons or the resources that show a money amount is a one-time thing. It doesn't bump your income. So if I had a limit of 4 income, but I also had a money card, I could spend 5. When I'm spending that 5, I would get rid of the money card, either from the pigeon that I got or from the resource card that I had in my hand.
Now I imagine there might be a little area control in this as well. If you decide to spread your umbrellas, your terrace umbrellas, right in front of somebody else's restaurant.
Well, as you can see, we are fighting right here already for terrace space, because now when this blue player starts placing their terraces, they have a limit of where they can go. You can be, let me make this legal. You can place like that, where we're kind of catty corner to each other. But this is illegal to be right next to each other. There is a pigeon card that actually breaks that law, but for the most part, you cannot place like that at all. So that would be illegal.
Now, if I were the blue player, could I have chosen to perhaps take my giant Uber restaurant there and put it on some completely different edge of the board? Like, am I limited to a particular side, or I create where I feel like it?
I decided this is the more happening side of the street. Even though I'm sitting over here, I've placed my restaurant over here. It's totally legal to do that. Yep. I would like to also point out at the beginning of the game, there are some more cards that you get. I actually pulled them. You get 2, you choose 1. They're end game bonuses. So if I am going to choose one of these, and let's say I decided to keep this. So if I build my terrace spaces in this order, I will get 5 points at the end of the game. For this one, if it goes around a decor type, meaning the fountains or the flowers or the band or the light, I will get 5 points for that. So if I chose to keep this terrace and get rid of the second card goes face up, and that turns into a public. And once you get it, once you say, oh, I did that, you take it, and then it's no longer available for other players. But up until that point, it's available for everybody to try and get. So every player is going to do that. So that for this game, there will be 3 of these up here for public.
That's an interesting balance of the 2 cards that you draw. You still technically can achieve both. It's just one of them, everybody knows what it is.
Exactly. So maybe if it's not as important to you, but you still maybe kind of want to try to get it, you might be able to get it. So there are 2 phases of the game, I should point out. You're always going to draw one of the resource cards at the beginning of your turn. And then you have 4 other actions you can choose from, and you can choose to do 2. One of them is also getting a resource card. So you could get 2 resource cards on your turn. Additionally, if you decide to, you could say, well, and for my 3rd action, I'm going to draw another resource card. So you can get 3 resource cards on your turn, and then you go around, and then the next turn you draw another one, and then instead of drawing resource cards in that phase, you might say, okay, now I'm going to build a restaurant this time, or 2 restaurants this time. For that, or I'm not building restaurants, I'm going to draft, and then I'm going to fulfill this public action. So you have some choice, some balancing act you need to do with your actions as well. So it's not just
Nikki,
free for all.
Since they are cool 3D pieces, maybe you could just grab one of the restaurants and just kind of show, front and side, since that adds a real interesting 3D pop to this game.
These things are super cool. And then even if they're the same size, let me grab a different one. Like these two are the same size, but they're two different restaurant types. But I will rotate this. So there's that. And the stickers go on the back too. And this big, huge one.
The detail in those is wonderful. Like to actually have cool, fancy door pulls and awnings and and some frittery, I guess the French fry shop.
Yes.
Yeah, probably a walk-up counter.
The frite, yeah, probably just a walk-up. I think. Well, the crepe place kind of looks like it's maybe lunchy, sit down, but definitely not a dinner place. You don't want to go there. And then we've got like a grill and a wine bar. So they're all, the grill and the wine bar are the same size, but they're two different types of building. Because, you know, as I was showing you these, you only have two of each of that, so.
Well, if you guys are interested in developing a wonderful plaza for all sorts of wonderful restaurants, this is Dinner in Paris, which is being published by Funny Fox. And Nikki, thank you so much for literally giving us a tour of the plaza.
Thank you. You're welcome.